Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am DM Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today I'm going to be taking a look at Minimal Worlds Fantasy. It's part of the minimalist role-playing system that was written by Jodie Brandt of Questwise Publishing. So I'm going to take a quick look and a review, since it is such a short document, which is fits in well with minimal. So let me switch views here and we'll start going through the PDF. Now, it is currently only available in PDF from DriveThruRPG, as well as other sites as well, I'm assuming. But here you can get it very easily at DriveThruRPG by just going through the link at the bottom of this video. So, Minimal Worlds Fantasy, Minimalist Roleplay. There's a little welcome here, and it is an expansion to the on-the-fly RPG. The rules, which will be reprinted below, so you get everything that you really need in order to play this inside these 9 pages. You see some nice little artwork here as well. What is a role-playing game? That's standard stuff. Jodie talks about his inspirations in writing, so you have that here. Here's the rules, and I do want to expand on this so you can see these rules. So you determine the setting. You choose the name, you choose the profession of your character, you choose the background of your character. Any actions that take place in the game, you're going to roll a single d6. A roll of a 6 equals success. If you can justify including your profession or background, then your success roll becomes a 5 or a 6. If you can justify both your profession and background into your action that you're taking, then you only need a 4, 5, or 6 in order to be successful. Each weapon or tool that you're using in the game causes 1 point of damage. Heroes and villains can take 3 points of damage before being knocked out of the scene. Minions can only suffer 1 point of damage. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that is a, very simple minimalist system. All that you need is just 1d6 and your imagination. And I really like the fact that it's like if you take your character's profession and their background and somehow you integrate those into your the role that you're trying to make, then that makes it easier to be successful in that. So it kind of causes you to think as a player, about what are some things that my character in this situation would do based on his or her, profession and background. So if you have someone who is trying to pick a lock, and their profession is a locksmith, and their background is that they have a long family history in locksmiths. Well, now in order to pick that lock, you're only going to need a 4, 5, or 6 in order to pick that lock. So it's a 50% chance in order to pick the lock. All right, options. So it goes. Initiative is an option. So you can decide. As the game master, if you determine that the order is going to be what it is, or you can have the characters or the players roll basically for initiative. And he always leaning towards a narrative. So this sets up the possibility for real cool narrative actions where characters can work together in creative ways. In most situations, the character takes 2 actions per turn. Statements, these additional options are designed to add setting-specific phrases that are the perfect way to create world truths for your game. World truths are short phrases and sentences that are effectively the setting for your gaming session. These are not the be-all and end-all options, but rather just ideas to spark the imagination. And you could utilize this chart down here. So he utilizes a deck of cards in order for you to generate some of these ideas randomly. So an ace is magic is all but unknown in the world, and you could use several different pulls from the deck in order to develop a much more varied concept for the game session that you're working on, or for your game world if you're looking to incorporate several of these into your game world. So let's say you took you picked a queen, an ace, and a deuce. All right, just to go off that. Magic is unknown in the world, an evil tyrant ruling an army of undead and seeks to rule the world. And what I say, a queen is the world is undergoing massive tectonic shifts, and there you have various things that you could try to piece those things together. So perhaps the tectonic shifts have led to magic becoming known in the world. So it was not something that the people had experienced, and that is leading to some kind of a undead apocalypse. That an evil tyrant is trying to take over the world with them. So it's whatever little pieces you can put together to create a story. So created truths, these are statements made during the gameplay by players. During the game, players can make a created truth to add a new element to the world. An example, the game master, upon entering the valley, the sun disappears over the edge of the hills, bathing you in cool shadows and resting spot well deserved. Sabrina, playing an elf druid, I like to propose to create a truth by saying that in this valley is a mother tree that will provide us with rest and sanctuary. All right, so it's the GM and the players are working together in order to create a story for the setting or the adventure, or just for that moment that's going on, just to describe what is going on. And so it's a nice way to get everyone at the table involved in creating the story. Addendums. So just adding a little bit more flavor to those creating truths. Magic can be finicky, subject in game with the barest of rules governing play, but is intrinsic to most fantasy worlds, while fantasy worlds can exist without magic. If you'd like to add it to your games, here are a few ideas for utilizing it. And so he goes through just a variety of ways that you can incorporate magic into your world, and yet still keep it fairly simple. Lucky weapons add a +1 to the dice rolls to hit during attack. Healing potions, obviously, are one-use items, restoring 1 box of health. Bane weapons do additional damage to a creature that it is attuned to. Cursed items, cruel magical devices cause a -1 to die roll. The player makes a roll of 6 on the dice is always considered a success, but a cursed item can negate the effects of using a profession or background. Of course, cursed items can also do other devious things. So we go into minions versus villains. All right, so the adversaries that the characters will meet during the story can and will be amazingly varied. All right, and minions are the minor bad guys. Villains are the main bad guys. And remember, villains can have up to three hit points, whereas minions only have one. So it takes three successful hits on a villain to knock the villain out of the scene, as it was described, whereas a minion only takes one hit to remove the minion from the scene. And in closing, remember, Minimal Worlds on the Fly RPG is a game of imagination utilizing minimalist rules set. And you can add or subtract to these as you feel appropriate for your own, game session, or your group if you tend to come together often. I gotta switch back to here again. So I really like this because this is the kind of game that you can really throw together, as you said, on the fly. If you have a group of friends and you suddenly discover that you're limited in time. You weren't anticipating, hey, you know what? Instead of having 2 hours to play, we only have 45 minutes to play. All right. Well, instead of jumping into a big adventure, or continuing something, we're going to do a little side quest, and then you just throw this together. It's something where you can just, create something on the fly. Very minimal requirement for, putting it together, planning, and that it'll be something that's just short, very quickly, executed, and still a lot of fun because the more the players try to build, their actions with their profession and their background, the better the storytelling will be, and the more successful they'll be while doing it. So once again, I encourage you to take a look at it on Drive Through RPG. It's only $3, and there's a lot that you can do with this simply for $3. It's you really can't beat it. Nice, simple, easy system to use. So once again, thanks for joining. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments to leave, just leave them in the comments section. If you hadn't subscribed, please consider subscribing and take a look at some of the other things that, some of these, small print and new developers out there are really putting out, pretty frequently. There's a lot of stuff out there that is these small press, little one shots or, very simple gaming systems to use. So, I really recommend when you go on to Drive Through or any other, printer like that, look at those games under $5. There's a lot of nice little gems tucked away in those. So, keep on playing, and I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen sometime soon. You'll have a great rest of the afternoon.